We're looking at a really, really happy draft room with the Minnesota Vikings
Look
right
at
now.
O'Connell.
The Minnesota Vikings select
J.J. McCarthy.
Michigan.
U.S. Bank Stadium. How you feeling right now?
And all I can say is Skull. Let's get after it.
And now the Vikings have traded up to pick number 17.
Turn. We're getting. Really?
Dallas Turner, linebacker, Alabama.
You fired up?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Yes, Coach O'Connell, really. We are here after the first round of the NFL draft, and the Vikings have come away as winners, I would say. I'm Tatum, Everett inside TCO Studios, joined alongside by the voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen. And we thank you so much for tuning into those introductory press conferences. And now we're going to talk about it. We're going to dive into the analysis of the night. It was a historic night, the first time the Vikings have drafted a quarterback within the first 10 picks of the NFL draft. And PA, you were there when the crowd erupted inside US Bank Stadium. J.J. McCarthy announced as the quarterback. And then you were also there for 17 for Dallas Turner. What was that like, and your overall thoughts on the evening?
Well, take when you crashed the J.J. McCarthy watch party, okay, and take that amount of people, multiply it by 6,210, and imagine that exaltation. It's because this was not a year where, you know, there were people who may have preferred Drake May or Jaden Daniels or J.J. McCarthy, Penix Jr., Bo Nix. But there were a lot of them. So you didn't have a big staunch crowd that was like, oh, no, that's not my guy. It was quarterback and when. So when they traded with the Jets and it became apparent they were going to draft a quarterback, well, the place erupted then. And then when they got up to 17 and got the edge guy from Alabama, same thing happened because it was offense-defense.
That's right, yes. So you mentioned the trade. The Vikings picked J.J. McCarthy with the 10th overall pick. The Jets getting a few of the picks from the Vikings as well. You did mention we were in Detroit yesterday for that, and he was only about 30 minutes away. We got in the minivan. We went to the watch party. I don't think, Paul, there was someone who was more excited to be a Minnesota Viking that I've ever seen. J.J. McCarthy was set on being a Vikings. And it was funny, I was joking with him and his fiance. I was like, it felt like you guys manifested this, that you wanted to be here. He loves the fact that Kevin O'Connell is such a QB guy. He was telling us that inside of those film rooms where they were talking to each other, it was just his ability to compartmentalize and relate to what the quarterback is going through every progression of the entire offense, from the huddle to the actual play itself. And so I think it's going to be a really nice match. The two of them together. I'm excited to see what happens. What were your thoughts on McCarthy fitting into this offense in particular?
Well, I think it's beautiful how you laid that out, because as you will learn when we talk about Dallas Turner, I was told basically the same thing about Turner and meetings with him and what he shared. So with JJ, you know, let's just take it a step farther. Jim Harbaugh, the Chargers coach, was his coach at Michigan, all right? And it's kind of a surrogate son situation if you read into the relationship between those two. Well, after the Chargers picked the LSU receiver at 5, at his press conference, Jim Harbaugh was asked about, hey, what do you think about J.J. McCarthy going to the Minnesota Vikings? And he smiled and he said, I stuck around our draft to watch to see what happened. And the Minnesota Vikings always were in J.J.'s heart. That was always, he made it sound like that was always the team he wanted to go to. So then I guess the next layer, Tatum, would be, you know, wondering if he knows like what his lot in life may be next, that there may be sitting out a little while, maybe he wins the job at training camp. None of that mattered at that watch party you were at.
I was literally going to say, I was like, he did not worry about that one bit. He was the consummate professional from the moment that we got there. He was so warm and welcoming. It was very much along the lines of those character things that we talk about. Like, you hear culture fit, you hear character, and he is very much that guy. I mean, he's a proven winner, 27-1 as a starter. He wants to get here, he wants to work hard, and I think, you know, Kevin O'Connell didn't get an A+ in the NFLPA rankings for nothing, and this proves why players want to come to Minnesota and will try their hardest for a guy like him. I mean, he literally told us after talking with Kevin O'Connell, I wanted to, and watching, he actually said, My fiance and I watched Quarterback on Netflix. And after watching him interact with Kirk and the team, I wanted to run through a brick wall for that guy. And so for me, that was something that really stood out.
I'm just going to take it a step farther and not try to pretend like I'm, inside X's and O's football guy, but just being around as long as I have. When it comes to a quarterback, and O'Connell has said this, but I think it's underplayed. There are two things with J.J. McCarthy compared to all the other quarterbacks in the draft that truly matter and resonate. One, he played a lot of snaps under center. Okay. Secondly, he's familiar with going in a huddle and like leading a huddle before a play. Michigan does that a lot with Harbaugh. So that doesn't happen a lot in college football. Our guy is quite comfortable with it. It has an inherent leadership quality to it. If you're the quarterback, that you're leading the other 10 in a confined area before a play, I think nuance-related things like that are quite big.
And probably the most comfortable quarterback in the draft with taking snaps under center for play action.
Right,
which
that's
is really,
great point.
Really interesting.
Oh, and just quickly, you got Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, whomever else, Aaron Jones, and that play action from under center, turning the back on the defense to Aaron Jones. Okay, whether it's Darnold or JJ.
Yeah.
Seriously, play action off Aaron Jones to all those guys. Can we start the season right now?
It's feeling like a little bit of an embarrassment of riches, PA, and now we have an embarrassment of riches for the rushers. This is a very exciting time. This is considered the steal of the draft by computers, ESPN computers, as well as several experts. Dallas Turner was taken 17th overall. This is what the Minnesota Vikings sent to the Jaguars to get Turner at 17, considered one of the top pass rushers in this draft. Even more so, could be number one, and you get him at 17. This is an amazing pick for this organization. You saw it on Kevin's face right here.
Yeah.
He literally goes, you gotta be kidding me. This is amazing. I had no idea we could do this at this point. So, Paul, steal the draft for you? Question?
I'm going to let him play before I determine steals of draft. But off that, and what you said about O'Connell sharing with McCarthy is, I get to be a journalistic news guy here. I chatted with a coach for another NFC team, all right, this morning or the morning after the draft. And he said the same thing somebody with the Vikings coaching staff said to me, that this guy's attention to detail and breaking down the nuance of pass rush and being engaged with the conversation so by far was the best anybody saw with edge rushers. Now, supremely gifted with the 4.4 speed, the 40-inch vertical. Development, coaching, and raising will be required because this is a different level. But just the fact that paying attention and knowing the nuance of pass rushing from multiple positions, that is a major factor to have in your stable, which they have. Secondly, is the same person outside of this organization told me everybody in the league, there's nobody in the league who thought Dallas Turner would get past pick 14. Like it was 500 to 1 or whatever, no chance. But then you get 14 consecutive offensive players, and circumstance this year, Tatum, went the way of the Minnesota Vikings.
It certainly did. I recently saw an article, or actually I was listening to Nick Saban talk about Dallas Turner from the draft. He was one of the draft analysts this year. And he said, I can see why somebody trades up for this guy. Great size, athletic ability, a three-way rusher, which he thoroughly enjoys. He can turn speed to power. And he also said he can cover tight ends man-to-man in coverage, can play inside backer, but they also played him at defensive end and outside backer. And the one word that Nick Saban used to describe Dallas Turner was relentless. And to me, when you hear the word relentless, or when some player has the aggression or the violence that he plays with, you think of Brian Flores. I cannot imagine someone more excited about this pick than Brian Flores.
Okay. I mean, you're playing so fast right now with that quick fire Saban thing you found on your phone when I was being long-winded. I hoist the white flag. I'm Tatum. Steal of the draft.
No,
I don't need to watch him play. It's Dallas Turner.
But let me say this. I wanted to, we don't have the receipts right now, but go back and watch our draft preview show because
I thought Ron wasn't here.
You called it.
I did?
And the Vikings feel great about the draft, your if was they get the quarterback of need and a big defensive tackle alongside.
I did not.
You called it.
Hey,
so
I didn't remember that. Put that on Twitter, everybody,
all right, well,
on this live
since you're
stream.
such a great prognosticator, let's talk about day 2 and 3.
Oh, good.
That's coming up today. The Vikings do not have any picks today, but we are going very hard there in day 3. You've got 3 6th-round picks, 2 7th-rounders, an area of need that you'd be targeting.
Holy cow. Yes. Now, when you get to the 6th, 7th round and college free agency, obviously we got some crap shooting to it, some dice rolling. But see Ivan Pace Jr. last year, then Thielen, Sherrills, John Randall. It can happen big in rounds 6, 7, and beyond. Pass rushing defensive tackle, like I don't think it would happen because he's going to get drafted Friday. A cat like Jerzon Newton from Illinois, okay? Somebody that middle position that can rush the quarterback. Sure. You can never have enough corners. Wide receivers over the last few years, it's been so deep, scheme specific, like some things the Packers did recently. So a wide receiver, but we got the quarterback of the future.
Yes, we do.
We got the steal of the draft. And what more that's good enough to eat. Seriously, it's like we should trade the rest of the picks and just give the rest of the league a chance.
Well, it's an exciting time here at TCOPC.
It is.
And momentum helps breed positivity, right? So we're hoping to take that into day 3 and really get our fans excited for what's to come here.
You know what? Just quickly, I think it behooves me just to share the positivity, not only in the building, since Tatum brought it up, but with Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, and he's not going to say it, and he's going to credit his staff, and he should. But from 2022 to where we are now, to be part of this and watch how it starts in 2022 with somebody brand new in their job. Then you win 13 games. Then 2023 and Addison and Pace. And then now with the free agency money they have to spend now and next year, and this draft and this free agency class, Grenard, Van Ginkel, Jones, Cashman, all of them, the trajectory Kwesi and his staff are on now is quite impressive.
It's very impressive. Kwesi cooked a little bit yesterday.
Well done, man. Seriously, well done.
What I'm looking forward to is the JJ to JJ. I mean, you have to redo the JJ call now. You got to figure that out. That'll be your homework.
I did something at the draft party last night.
Yeah, how'd it go?
JJ to JJ for a payday. Okay. Touchdown Vikings. I don't know if I like it though.
I like the sound of it. Maybe just a little polishing up. You'll be good to go by season opener, I think.
Yeah. Well, when Dallas Turner has his first sack, SOD, steal of the draft.
Oh, okay. I feel like I kind of am personally responsible for that one. No, but thank you so much, Paul Allen, for joining us to do the analysis for today. We are going to have plenty more coming your way on Vikings.com and the Vikings app, including a one-on-one with head coach Kevin O'Connell that followed the press conferences for Dallas and JJ, and some one-on-ones with those two guys coming at you. So we have plenty more to come here on Vikings.com and the Vikings app. Stick tuned. I made that up. You can use that in your call.
That's at least it's not live.
Stay tuned to Vikings.com. Thanks for tuning in, guys.